You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Yeah, that's right. I know your ass. And I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna keep cooking the way I want. Said you wanted to cook, didn't you? Cook that nigga! Anybody want to make some money, do shit the right way, then please, by all means, stay. But if not, get the fuck out!
All right, man. You getting DP? Just get the fuck out.
You motherfuckers.
All right. Now what?
Ever cut before?
You serious? I want to work.
All right.
Yo, it's your boy Lil Peso from Memphis, Tennessee. Go tap in with my people. Let's Yap About It podcast. It's a problem case, not a podcast. Gang shit.
So I need to see everyone who has pre-saved the project. That should be everyone in here. Hold your phone up so I know you.
Y'all know what it is. It's the biggest Fuego Base. I'm with Let's Yap About It podcast, and we ain't a podcast. We a problem cast. You know what I'm saying?
Let's Yap About It. Let's Yap About It. Yap About It podcast. Starring Raw Bass. Let's Yap About It. Let's Yap About It. Let's Yap. Let go. We in the mix. Fit Too Savage. Let's Yap About It. Was so living, had to pray for all of my children. Now the whole world be listening. Talk to niggas from prison. Spoke how they was living, how the COs be tripping. Rappers losing on the back end because promoter dudes keep dipping. Seen the show when the dude started out of Bloods, then start crippin'. Stripper niggas stop tipping, out of game niggas stop flipping. Bad attitude, so he had to move just to keep his ass out of prison. Seen a show about a young hoe, fucked on a sister, man, no apology. Let's yap about it. If the bitch come around me, shit, she can holler at me. Check my Instagram, she was following me, cause she knew I be where them dollars be. Rapid funds, but I keep it going, I fuck you up, no apologies. Fit Too Savage, savage like music.
We are back, man. I gotta show y'all some love. This was an impromptu, but this is a special one. It's near dear to me. It hits home with me, to the spirit and to the heart. Tonight's episode, I want to get into detail about it. Tonight's episode is something that I think that we could all learn from, as far as the experience, the knowledge, and then also the ups and downs and different things that come with being a black man, as far as going through the court systems and different things like that. But first, I want to introduce y'all, and I want you to understand this. What happens with a father is willing to provide for his child and collides with a system that seems and is designed to crush him. For countless men in America, particularly black men, the child support and the family court system can feel less like a path of justice and more like a pipeline to a whole bunch of difficulty and trials and tribulations. While the laws on the books are gender neutral, the real world outcome is this. They often tell a story of finances being all over the place, emotional despair, and a forced disconnection from the very children that they are trying to support or child that they're trying to support. But nonetheless, we need to have this necessary conversation. We're joined by internet sensation Kusi, a father who has spent time, energy, finances, and lost in the maze of family court. He's here to share his story, not as a man dodging his duties, but as a father trying to fulfill them against impossible odds, especially when it comes to the court system. His experience shines a light on a silent crisis where the tools meant to help a child can end up inflicting profound harm on the family itself. K-Su, I want to thank you for being here. Shout out to you. But before we get started, I really want to go into detail. I really want to go into detail about what I'm about to talk about. And the reason that I want to go into detail about this is because I think there is something going on. And the reason why I say this, and I believe that I don't think that the elite want us to have this conversation because this is something that's heartfelt and a lot of men go through in the process. And on this particularly episode, I want to go into deepness about what we go through. And I'm going to be asking the questions. And it seems like even in itself right now, the audio is having a couple of issues, but we're going to get through them. We're definitely going to get through them. Give me 1 second. Now, Kusi, can you hear me? That is so weird. Hold on. It is literally. Hold on, say something again. Dang, this is wild. Wow, I think, let me check this out real quick. Because this is a conversation that needs to be had. This is a conversation that needs to be had. And I think a lot of times when we get ready to go into depth, things like this, YouTube tends to want to play. But let me check something out. Can you hear me now? This is wild. And we're just starting this show. Hold on a second. Now, let me do this. Testing 1, 2, 3. It's still, let me do this. I tell you what, in the meantime, I'm going to do this. We're going to get to the bottom of the story. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send you my number directly. And let me see if I can get you on the microphone. Let me check this out. Hold on. I'm going to send you my number directly. We improvisers over here. We improvisers. me see if I can get him. See, Kusi, call me. Call me directly so I can put you on the telephone. Right. Bet. We definitely gonna have this conversation tonight. We're gonna put him on the check-in. We definitely gonna have this conversation.
Let's Yap About It podcast.
All right, I got you here live. Check this out. We got him live, ladies and gentlemen. We got him live. I told you, it's more than one way to skin a cat over here. More than one way to skin a cat, baby. I'm very smart. But check this out, man. K-Su, man, definitely. You know what I'm saying? Kusi, introduce yourself and let the folks know who you are.
How y'all doing? I'm on the internet as Kusi. I'm known on the internet as Kusi. Was born in Pensacola, Florida, but I now reside in Tallahassee, Florida. I'm a father of 3 children. I have 2 girls and 1 boy. I have a 7-year-old daughter named Nevaeh, a 4-year-old daughter named Darrell, and a 6-month-old son named Castor.
Okay. Now, before we get started, man, listen to me. For anybody that's in the crowd, listen. Please share this live if you can. This is a high vibrational, high intelligent conversation that we're gonna have tonight. And I also want to introduce some terms. But before we get started, I want to say this: hit the like button, subscribe, and share if you care. We want to make this YouTube channel one of the best in the media, even though YouTube is trying to stop us from having these high vibrational conversations. But
like, subscribe, and spread the word around.
Absolutely, man. Listen, before we get started, I want to get straight to this part. Let's rewind. Before the court dates and the orders, tell me about the relationship with your children's mother and what you hope for as far as the beginning. Walk us through that.
Okay, so like I said, I have 3 children. All of my children have their own mother, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. I was in a relationship with my children's mothers at the time that each one of my children was conceived. All of my children are spaced out apart. So normally when I, tell people that, all of my children have their own mothers, they instantly think that I was out here, being a rolling stone. And, that's not the case. However, as I said, I was in a relationship with each one of my kids' mother at the time that they were conceived. The relationship actually was good. It just, over time, when you, have dealings and then, a baby come in the picture, that's typically when life hit. And when life hits, that's when a lot of decision, making has to come into play. And then that's when, people's true emotions come out. What one person may believe in, the other person may not. So instead of coming to a common ground, it makes it hard to tell the differences. So with those differences, you tend to go a different way. And then that's how you become co-parents.
Now, in this co-parenting process, now I tell everybody, and I want to walk everybody through this, that anytime that you've been in that situation with any of them, there was pure love, there was pure care and understanding on your part.
Correct.
And I think that gets translated in a negative light because, like you said, the first thing people do is they start off with, because they think that you have different mothers for your children. They think that you were just all over the place, but nah, there are a lot of circumstances and situations that change a lot of things. If you care to elaborate, what was one of the most pivotal points in changing before it got to that point?
Elaborate a little more when you say pivotal point in changing.
Like, say,
just so I can properly answer the question.
Like when I say going through the motions, like everything started out good, I call it the honeymoon stages. But when you started having problems, especially when the child get here, because I think culturally, a lot of us start off real good, but then when the child gets here, we have a difference in parenting, a difference in discipline, a difference in understanding certain things. Accountability is a little bit different. What changed in those situations?
Okay, so my first daughter's mother, we were young. She was 18 when I met her. I was 19. We both was in college and immature, undeveloped brain. So a lot of my decision making wasn't the best. A lot of her decision making wasn't the best. So, as you growing up, when we was together 2.5 years, just so people know, we was together 2.5 years as 18 and 19-year-olds. And it was, typically when you're young, you kind of run to your family, run to your parents, and you kind of, spill the tea on what's going on between you and your partner. As grown, mature adults, we know now that that's a no-no, but then it wasn't like that. It was we was both hours away from home, so her family was all she had to talk to. And so they typically took a disliking to me, and it kind of built a wedge because they're telling her to do one thing, her emotions telling her to do another, I'm telling her to do another. And, over time, we just grew apart from each other. And eventually she went to her college, I went to my college once we finished our 2-year school. And then that's typically when the relationship ended. And then my youngest daughter's mother, I met her right after my grandma passed away. We was together for a few months, but again, I had some flaws of mine. She had some flaws of hers. And in that situation, we just wasn't willing to work on each other's flaws to, have I wouldn't even say healthy relationship, just have a relationship. So, we just deemed it best that we go our separate ways. And then when we finally went our separate ways, she ended up calling me. She ended up blocking me, actually. And she ended up calling me from another number saying, hey, I'm pregnant. And then it just went from there. And my son's mother, she's a couple years younger than me. Like I said, young, undeveloped brain. So, a lot of how I think and how I do things may not be her way because she's, inexperienced. So, just over time with, differences and, the things that she been through in her personal life and the things that she had going on in her personal life, it didn't align with what I had going on in my life. And again, we at another point where we just feel like it's just best that we go separate ways. Except in this situation, we already found out she was pregnant. So I'm at a point now where I'm like, we gonna go our separate ways. Just let me know when the appointments is. If you need a ride, if you need some food, I send you some money. But as far as the relationship, it was, with my son's mother, it was, I can honestly say as a man, I should have made a smarter decision and I should have not gotten into that. But the son is here now and I'm just trying to be the best father that I could be. But it wasn't no abuse. It wasn't no physicality. It wasn't, no one got hurt. It was literally grew apart from each other, had mental differences.
Now, for those that don't know you, let them know your mindset of you going through the process of school. You're not just anybody just off a street corner. Let them know your educational background.
Okay. Well, as I said, I come from Pensacola, Florida. Pensacola, Florida is the only city in Florida on Central Time, and it's a very rough city. It's the home of Emmitt Smith, the NFL player Roy Jones Jr. Like I said, it's a rough city, so I seen a lot. I wouldn't necessarily say I've been through a lot because I had a mother and a stepfather that, kind of tried to keep us away from that. They tried to provide the best life possible. Mm-hmm. But the crime in that city is crazy. So, I came from a home of, it was, my mother had 7 kids, but, I had my cousin that stayed with us. So in total, we had about 10 children, about 10 children in the home, 2 adults. So I got into running track in high school, and ultimately that led to me getting a track scholarship. I went to a 2-year school in Kansas. I left Kansas, which that's where I met my oldest daughter, mother, and came to FAMU and came back to Florida in 2018 to attend FAMU. I ended up graduating in last year in 2025 with my bachelor's in criminal justice, and I graduated with honors. So through all the adversity that I faced, in my life from, childhood on up to now, it led to me graduating college with honors. The first in my family to graduate with honors. The first in my family to even go to college.
And that's truly a blessing, especially coming from the backgrounds that, normally we Black men come from, and still, persevering and showing resilience and getting your degree, man. My hat's off to you.
I appreciate that, man. It means a lot.
Now, just so I wanted people to understand your background, to let them know that slouch out here. You're not just all over the place. I want to get into the legal system. So where did the legal system come in, and what was the pivot like to that?
Okay. So my oldest daughter, I typically go on order.
Go ahead.
When I, speak on my kids, for the listeners and the viewers. Mm-hmm. So my oldest daughter, I got her when she was 4 months old. She was born in August of 2018. I got her in January of 2019. I was a then college student at FAMU. So my oldest daughter was actually raised up on FAMU's campus. Me and her mother had an agreement that I would get her for a semester. Because we both was athletes on campus. I was kicked off for the track team in 2018 for expressing interest in transferring. The mother, later in 2018, the mother contacted me and was like, "Hey, I need you to get in the veil, or I'm gonna have to send her to Hawaii, because that's where she's from." And I was just like, "Nah, let me keep my daughter. I would like to grow with her because it had been 4 months since I seen her because we were in 2 different states for school." So I got in 2019, kept her for the first semester while the mother did her season in track. And after the first semester, I'm calling like, "All right, the semester over, are you coming to get her?" She's like, "Hey, do you mind keeping her for another semester?" So I'm like, "Yeah, sure," And so I kept her for another semester. And then before you know it, it's, 6-7 years later. And I'm honored, to have been in that position. And then my second daughter, she was born in 2022. However, her mother was, the type of individual that, weaponized the child against me because of, I guess the failed relationship or some things that may have been said or done to her from me that she may not have agreed with, which maybe had went through my phone and seen something she didn't like or whatever the case may be on her end, she weaponized the child. And like I said, my daughter's 4. Out of those 4 years, 2 of those years was wiped away from me. My son's mother, he was actually born 2 days after Christmas. And here I am again, separated from the mother. And then the baby comes, the mother's mad because I don't want to be in a relationship. I strictly want to co-parent. And here my son is again weaponized, can't see him, can't talk to him. So I put in my head, matter of fact, let me backtrack. I opened the court case on my oldest 2 daughters last year in August. My son was born 2 days after Christmas. I opened a court case against his mother on December 29th. The reason I opened that court case against her was because she was not in contact with me about the appointments, the well-being, the birth. I kind of already knew I wasn't going to be at his birth. So I'm like, no, I see how this going. Let me go ahead and handle this now. So that's how my court cases got going.
So you took self-initiative in the process to even get everything started because you already knew what that was going to be about from the jump.
Yeah, so it had been 5 years since my oldest daughter heard from her mother. You know, her mother wasn't calling, wasn't texting, wasn't FaceTiming, wasn't sending money. It literally was me and my daughter from 2020 to 2025 when I opened that case up. So I felt that in my head, I'm like, if I'm going to open one, I might as well just do a clean sweep because I don't want to have to revisit court again when I can just take care of everything at one time.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for those that are listening, and I really want y'all to understand this, there's so much as far as the stereotype for Black men to be absent. You know what I'm saying? The absent Black father. That narrative is often wrong. And I want to bring in just a little bit of information. Data from the CDC, for instance, has shown that Black fathers who live with their children are often involved in the daily caregiving, bathing, feeding, helping with homework, all of these type of things, you know what I'm saying, than their white or Hispanic counterparts. Now, I want to ask you this. In the process of going through the parenting part, before you started going through the court system, did you feel like the reality of your involvement was simply invisible in the courtroom system?
I knew that it was going to be hard for, you know, just being Black in an American system. You know, this system wasn't built for us as long as we can remember back to our ancestors. So I knew that, you know, having children, the system wasn't built for me. I knew I was, you know, at some point, whether it was in the beginning or later on in life, that I was going to have to go to court and fight for my rights. I just decided to do it early. I knew what it came with. Of course, I wasn't ready to, you know, deal with all that and go through all that. Like, it's too much paperwork. I don't want to be in and out of the courtroom. I don't want a person telling me when I can and can't see my child. But my kids, I should say. But I knew that it was the right thing to do. I knew that this was going to be the only way that I could be able to be in my children's lives and without, you know, having to fight with the mother.
Now, I want to ask you this. Going into that courtroom, did it feel like it was so much, like, did you feel like it was just thick in that courtroom?
Anytime I step in the courtroom for anything, bro, my anxiety shoot through the roof.
I want people to understand this. For a person that cares, a man that cares, a Black man that cares, and is going through the process and doing it the right way, I want you to understand the seriousness of a person within their heart trying to do something right, knowing that they're walking into a landmine or a booby trap. Because, like you said, the court system is not designed for us, and you're trying to do something that is not, that's a part of your process as a man because you want to be there for your children. I think people don't realize the significance and, like you say, the anxiety, the stress levels. And I guarantee your blood pressure was all the way through the roof too. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what the outcome is going to be. And let me ask you this. When you got in there, how much acknowledgement did they give you versus them?
Honestly, bro, it shocked me. The judge, I have a old Caucasian judge, bro, and the fact that I open these court cases, because it's not common that men open court cases. There's men out there that open them up. It's, you know, more so the women going down there. The judge honestly was working in my favor. You know, she told the mother, "Hey, you know, Mr. Sir, open up this court case. He wants to see his children. He wants to be in his kid's life, and we're gonna work something out to make that happen."
Now, in that process of you even going through the court system, what was her attitude like towards the whole situation in itself when the judge was speaking to her?
About the mother?
Yes, the mothers.
So my oldest daughter, mother, she's more, you know, she's more reserved. She's, you know, just listening and answering questions. My second daughter's mother, you know, she was trying everything in her power to try to, you know, stop, to paint me out to be the bad person, like I'm just this terrible person. And she's trying to come up with, you know, she actually presented some old photos of me holding firearms from 2022. And she tried to, present that if it was new. She went and tried to get an injunction on me about, and from what she say, she was in fear of her life because I supposedly threatened her and all this, that, and the third, bro, during an argument or whatever. And she tried to get an injunction. However, the judge pretty much was like, hey, we're not doing that because you didn't do it then. You can't run here now that he has his court case open saying you in fear of your life. So me, I showed up with all my documents. Hey, she's saying she in fear of her life. The actual date on these pictures. And here's dates where 3-4 years later after she presented these pictures to y'all where I was around her and the child. So, she was sitting in court, just fishing and hoping that the judge just say, hey, he's too dangerous. I'm not doing all this. But the judge ultimately told her, like, he don't even have a criminal record. He don't have no violent charges. So I have to take that into account. And my son's mother, she spazzed out in the courtroom. They had to walk her out. She had to be removed for about 10 minutes to calm down because she couldn't conduct herself. But again, she was trying to say, oh, he did this and said that and whatever. You know how the game go.
And I want to introduce to everybody out here, and this is for the young men that are going through this process or going to go through this process, and for them to understand the words that I'm about to drop. There's a thing called blame system. They believe you're the problem and not them. In the court system, like you said, you were very lucky to experience a judge or even be shocked the fact that they were considering you as a man, when we know in the court system that we are not highly favored at all. So for that to work in your favor played a huge part, because guess what? As you conducted yourself on a professional level in the court system, some of the cases, like I said, not all of them, but in that particular case, the judge got to see firsthand of the experiences of that. So it easily confirmed what you had been through the process. Now, let me ask you this question. When it came to the verbiage and how they were explaining things to you in the court system, were you very comfortable with what the judge was saying as far as the process of the money part? How was that with you?
So I'm actually not on child support. However, my youngest, my son's mother, she attempted, and for all you men or women that's listening, I want y'all to listen to me real closely. She attempted to put me on child support. However, she did it in the midst of us having an open court case. So what I did was I took my court order and I took documentation, like proof that I had an open court case. I took it down there to the Department of Revenue and I handed it to them. And they said, hey, we can't even mess with you right now because we don't want to put something in place. And then the judge overruled it. So they said everything has to be handled through family law. However, my first child's mother, she has to pay me child support for the time she missed. She has to pay me like $800 and some in child support. And that's not even included with the back pay, with the retroactive. So I'm a father that's, receiving child support. It actually started on the 1st of next month. And it's not necessarily because I need the money. It's because the child has needs. You know what I mean? Like, a field trip comes, it costs $300, or she wants to get in cheer or some kind of, after school program. I can't pay the bills, pay what I need, and then, have a mother out there that's not helping or assisting when you're married and you're in the military. Right, so right. I feel like that's obligated to the child. It's not obligated to me.
Now, I want you to say that one more time. Say that one more time so people can understand the verbiage of what you just said, because a lot of that gets misconstrued. Say that last part again.
When you're receiving child support from the other parent, the child support is for the better and the benefit of the child. It's for the betterment and the benefit of the child. It's for used for child needs, clothes, shoes, food, trips, after school programs such as cheerleading, basketball, football, whatever sport they want to do or activity. That's what it's used for. It's not used for personal gain. I'm not going to go buy a pair of shoes or not one shirt or one pair of pants. Strictly for the child. I personally have a savings account open for my daughter. So all of that money is going straight to my child's savings account.
And to get into this, now, normally when we go through that court system, you know what I'm saying, it's a critical point that, you know what I'm saying, child support orders can be set at completely unrealistic levels for parents, right? Creating an instant debt trap. Now, I want people to understand that when you went through that process of you know what I'm saying, going through the process of seeing the judge, you going through the process and actually things going in your favor, I want you to explain to them that you didn't have any animosity towards them, even though one particular one took you through that process. Let the people know that there is no animosity on your part.
So when you go to court, feelings don't matter. It don't matter what they do to you. It don't matter how bad the situation is. You have to go in the courtroom calm, non-biased, and you have to be respectful. So typically when I go in a courtroom setting, I refer to my children's mother by their last name. So I say, for example, and this is not their actual last name, I'm just hypothetically speaking.
Right.
Miss Jones, Miss Parker, Miss Davis, or however the case may be. Hey, Your Honor, on behalf of what Miss Davis clarified, I would like to mention that I did not, and this was never proven. So it keeps the nonsense down. So the picture that the other parent tried to paint of you, a judge will look like you come here painting this picture, but this isn't what this person displaying in here. They seem highly respectful and intelligent. So how you act in court and how you speak, all of that matters. Respect matters in the courtroom. It's never personal. It's all business.
Now, I want to say this. Now, let's shift from the monetary part, but to the direct of the parenting part. While all this was happening with the child support order and everything else going in the process, what was going on with your time with your children? Were you able to see them?
Yes. It's actually hadn't been long ago. Actually, I try to separate, the courtroom business, the courtroom shenanigans from fatherhood. I always try to instill in myself that at all times I have to be a father, no matter how ugly it gets, no matter what someone says about me, what someone may put on the internet about me, because the children don't understand that their feelings are regulated around their mom and their dad or whoever else they're around. So I have to, if I'm upset or I'm frustrated, I have to separate myself away from my children until I get myself in a mental standpoint to be able to be gentle and to be loving and caring around them, because a stressed out parent is no good for their children.
Come on, man. Come on.
Because what I learned is a stressed out parent, a parent that's going through so much, your child becomes your punching bag. And it might not necessarily be you physically beating them, emotionally, mentally. Whatever you feeling, it comes out on that child. And one thing we forget as parents is our kids are going to be kids. They're going to talk to us. They're going to run around. They're going to bounce around. They're going to be kids.
Now, there's two sayings that I want to bring to the table. I learned the saying that you got to lead even when it hurts. And then also, shout out to my boy Tim. He said you got to be a man at all times. Was there any moment that you felt that even in this process, was there any almost breaking point with you?
Oh, absolutely. Like I be in and out of depression so much, but it's not depression where I want to kill myself. It's like, I'm ready for all this to be over with, and then I look back at my children and I tell myself, what if you give up now? What if you give up? How would that affect them? Are your kids worth you putting up a fight, or are they worth you just giving up? My kids worth me putting up a fight, bro. I don't care how much I get knocked down. I'm going to get back up and I'm going to take 20 steps forward.
And for those that are listening, I really want you to understand that anybody that has been through the court systems and co-parenting, and it has not been an easy road for everybody, I get that. But for a black man and a black woman to try to figure things out, as far as coming from different backgrounds, different situations, circumstances, or whatever, for a man to try to figure this thing out with you and to love and to figure out this thing called love, because we're not perfect, we're human. A lot of times in those situations that you come from, I think that's the universe trying to do a course correction to put everything back on track. So when you're in that court system and you're going against the grain and you're going trying to get things in your favor, is the battle that you're having now worth the war of your children? Is it worth right then and there giving a parent hell, whether it's the man to the woman to the man? Is it really worth damaging the child? Because the child is going to hurt, believe it or not. You may not think so, because your narcissism, your entitlement, your mindset of you think the world owes you something does you a favor, and it doesn't. It really does affect the children, because at the end of the day, the children are only supposed to know that both of y'all love them, both of you care, both of them you're going to put the best foot forward, no matter if he or she is not in the house. But the best foot forward is the children first.
Absolutely.
And I want to get into this. Now, I know you had a whole bunch on you. You know what I'm saying? You're having to deal with the financial aspect of it, and then the custody. What were some of the things that you went through in the custody? Like, I remember you saying that they were trying, one of them particularly were trying to keep them away from you. Did you sit on your hands a lot of times and then had to go back to the court and bring more evidence and different things like that for them to understand of what you were going through in the process?
Man, I just took evidence to the court a couple weeks ago, man. I took so much evidence that I know, man, I think the court's tired of me, bro, because in the court, when you're in family law, or any type of court, criminal, civil, family law, you have to create what you call a paper trail. So any little piece of evidence, you have to take it down there, and you have to put it on record. Because when you go to court, the judge is only going to elaborate and speak on what you presented. You can't come in the courtroom with new evidence, because the first thing the judge is going to say is, well, where's the proof of this?
Now, what I seen, how I stumbled upon your page and it hit my algorithm, was that there was an agreement to where you were supposed to meet, but I think you were 2 minutes. Was it 2 minutes off?
Yeah.
And it turned into a big to-do. Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, man. So we have a court order in place to where we meet at a safe exchange location. Is kind of like a neutral ground, a neutral place to where it keeps down fighting, arguing. It's just a healthy thing to do. Everybody that gets a court order is gonna have a neutral zone. So it's Monday. This Monday that just passed. No. I gotta go back to Sunday. Sunday, I gotta go back. Before that, I inquired at daycare about obtaining my son's Social Security number. They told me they was not able to get it, so I went to the Social Security Administration to get it myself. Sunday, I get a text message from the daycare. The lady pretty much like, "Hey, I don't want to be in you and your baby mama drama, and he sent me screenshots. You told her we gave you your son's Social Security number, and that's a lie. We didn't give you nothing." I was like, "Hey, ma'am, I didn't tell her that. I told her that I got it from the Social Security Administration, and she must have took what I said and flipped it to whatever she came up with and sent you the screenshots with it." So my message was left unread. So I wrote my son's teacher and the director, which was the director is the one that texted me about, what my child's mother sent her. I'm like, "Hey, I need to have a meeting with y'all tomorrow. Like, we need to get this cleared up." So the director of the daycare was like, she just left me on red. So my son's teacher was like, "Okay, that's fine. Just, run it through the director. Because, it's mom and daughter."
Right.
Still left on red. So my court order says that I have to have the child at the daycare by 9 p.m. 9 a.m. I'm sorry. By 9 a.m. So I get my 3 kids up on Monday. We get in the car. We head to my son daycare. We arrive at the daycare around about 8:15. Mind you, the baby don't have to be back to 9 o'clock. I showed up at 8:15 so I could take at least 10 minutes to meet with these two individuals so that I can get to my youngest daughter's drop off, which is at the same safe exchange location.
Okay.
So I have two times that's contradicting each other. Both of the babies got to be back at 9, so I have to take one back early. So I go up there to meet with the lady. One of the staff members come out and say, "Hey, they not here." I said, "Okay, cool. What time they gonna be here?" And I got my son in my hand feeding him a bottle. So I'm like, "What time they gonna be here?" She said about 8:30, 9 o'clock. I said, "Okay." I said, so my manager was actually, my social media manager was with me. She said, "You gonna take the baby, you gonna leave him?" So I said, "Nah, I take him." I said, "I'll bring him back." So I leave the daycare. It's around about 8:25 now. I shoot back across town to drop my oldest daughter off at her summer camp. And then I go to drop my youngest daughter off at the safe exchange to her mama. Now I'm shooting back up to my son's daycare. So when I get to the daycare and I pull in, it's 9:01, just went to 9:02. I see the police already there. So I go in and pull in. I sit in the car for a minute. So I park right beside the police car. So I let my window down. My manager say, "Hey, is you here for him?" So he's like, "I don't know." And he was like, "Hey, we here to drop a baby off." So the police get out the car. "Hey, you supposed to have this baby back." I said, "Sir," and he really not trying to listen. I'm like, "Hey, sir, I was already here. I left to go drop my other 2 kids off because I was supposed to be having a meeting and these people weren't here, weren't in place." So come to find out, the staff member that opened the door when I first showed up told my son's mama that I took the baby and had no plans to bring the baby back, which prompted my son's mama to call the police. And this according to the police report that I went and got. So now I'm like, "Hey, I stood right here and told you this, that, and the third." She, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't hear that part. I say, "But you see what you supposedly not hearing that part caused." So, man, it was communication between the daycare and my son's mama, and it so happened the police got called.
Now, I want to say something to you so you can understand this. A lot of times in these situations, and we may not think any of it as men, a lot of time there's a shared empathy with certain individuals and they bond off of that. And a lot of times they may look out for certain individuals because whatever that may have been said, obviously, if you've been left on red, that there's some things that have possibly been communicated between those two to orchestrate something. So you got to be mindful and be careful with that because you, like I say, you're just doing your routine, you're doing your 1s and 2s, but you don't know if there's anything. And I'm saying this where triangulation, right? It's a communication dynamic where one person brings in a third person into a conflict instead of talking directly, right? They could be in cahoots together. Well, if he shows up, then do this. You don't know what type of communication that they may have outside that daycare. Because one thing that I know, that people that have been through maybe situations that may not even know or understand your situations, they always pick and choose a side. And just by even in that situation, it just didn't sound right. There was a whole bunch of communication between them and none between you. And that's on a professional, like you say, you going, I'm doing my routine, I'm gonna be back, different things like that. You see how much got lost in translation simply just by you, the person that was at the facility, to not communicate effectively with you. You do not know. And I'd be very careful as far as saying certain things or even just being in the presence because they're fishing, they could be looking, and then that could put them at an advantage over you. So you always want to keep your head on the swivel with that situation.
Well, should I further elaborate?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I pretty much explained to them like, "Hey, listen, I wrote y'all yesterday. If y'all would have responded to my message, we would have, with a time, this would have never happened. This ain't on me. This on y'all. You know what I'm saying?" So that was Monday. So I wrote the mom like, "Hey, listen, I got this squared away with the daycare. Hey, from now on, we gonna meet back at our, what the court order say, our safe exchange location." Because I was literally trying to be a good baby dad, bro, a good father to the baby by, picking them up from daycare on Monday. I was doing stuff the court order ain't even required me to do.
Extra.
Just because I knew the mother had a transportation issue. So when that happened, I'm like, nope, I don't care about the transportation issue. From this point on, you pick him up, and if you don't pick him up and drop him out when he's supposed to, then I'm going to be the one calling the police. So that was Monday. Tuesday, hey, just pick him up from the daycare. I said, no, pick him up from the safe exchange. So Wednesday morning rolled around. I say, hey, pick him up from the safe exchange. I'm on my way there. I'll be at 11. So I get there. Wednesday is the most pivotal day. Mm-hmm. So I get there Wednesday. Me and my manager, I typically take my manager with me typically everywhere I go. Because if it's a situation where something get out of hand or I was, let's say I got arrested on Monday. She's to be the one to go on. She know what's going on. She come down there and get me out of jail. Well, on Wednesday when I showed up, I'm calling the mother, no answer. So at about 11:35, 11:40, she still didn't show up. Mind you, the police got called on me for being 1 to 2 minutes late. She about an hour late. So I go and I put this on file. I go meet with the duty officer. I took my court order in there. He gave me a case number, wrote it down, pretty much noting that I was where I was supposed to be and the mother wasn't. So he said, at your discretion, you can go pick the baby up from the daycare facility because by this court order, you have a right to do that. So I sent my manager, I say, well, since what happened Monday, I don't want to go. Can you go pick my son up? And she's like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. So Wednesday, roll around, a couple hours pass by. So 4 o'clock comes, it's time for me to drop the baby back off. I said, hey, I'm on my way back to the safe exchange. You didn't come to drop him off. You need to be here to pick him up. Still a no-show. About an hour passed by. To meet with the duty officer again. Hey, she ain't showing up. So she ended up calling my phone like, hey, you need to bring the baby back to the daycare. So I'm like, I'm not going nowhere near the daycare. I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm where the court order says I'm supposed to be. So she calls the police, and the police called my phone like, hey, she say you're supposed to bring the baby back. I say, ma'am, if you want to come to where I'm at, I have my court order in my hand, and I'm where I'm supposed to be. So the officer ended up coming. Tell me why the officer says, hey, the daycare to trespass you from the daycare. I'm like, I ain't even been to the daycare. I haven't been there. I've been up here all day. So come to find out, they was under the impression that I wasn't bringing the child back, which let me know that they didn't read the court order that I provided to them, bro. So I went up to the police station, and the police said, well, was you at the daycare when you got trespassed? I said, I ain't been there that day, haven't talked to him or none of that. So right now it's under investigation because I was never supposed to be trespassed when I was never there in the first place.
And I want the audience to understand when I said that, I'm not saying this to be facetious, but I'm saying that people orchestrate certain things to work in their favor for leverage and power. And let me tell you something. If they can't get to you directly, they'll start orchestrating things that happen in your normally daily comings and goings to put you at a disadvantage, to put you in a disarray. You see what I'm saying? You see how much confusion, just no communication whatsoever, knowing that they know you, see you all the time through these processes, and now all of a sudden there's a breakdown in communication. I can almost guarantee that there is something going on between them that they're orchestrating together. I can guarantee it.
Mm-hmm. And as a man and as a father, I had to think about my kids first, my home, my freedom, and I weigh it out. Okay, we, and y'all excuse my language, we have to know the difference between street logic and reasonable and legal logic. Street logic is saying, these people got me fucked up. I'm finna handle this. I'm finna lay this on the wood, and I'm finna let them know who they messing with. That's what comes with handcuffs, jail cells, and at times, bro, it come with death. Because if you out of hand and them folks tell you to chill and you don't chill, they gonna shoot you. But legal sense would have me saying, okay, let me go get the police report. Let me read it. Let me write something to counter argue it. Let me get that notarized. Let me go put that on court file. So if it get brought up, I already have a defense. Legal understanding will have you saying, let me stay away from this place because I see the game that they playing. I know what I'm dealing with. The legal way feels so much better than handling it the street way.
Say that one more time so that they can understand that.
Handling things and obstacles the legal way feels so much better than handling it the street way. So I was fired up, man. I was ready to, I'm like, man, these people got me effed up, dog. But I said, look how far I came from the start of this court case. Why would I go mess it up now? I don't need, besides my son, the daycare is not nowhere I'm going to often. That ain't nowhere I go be. You know what I'm saying? So my legal and my reasonable mindset said, okay, the mama just messed up because now it's going to be 10 times harder for you to get him, to transport him to and from this safe and staying location. The courts don't care about your transportation. When they say be somewhere at this time, you better be there at this time the best way you can.
You're not lying. You're not lying. And for people to understand what the process is like, you still got to work. You still got to maintain your court order to make sure you're on time. You still got to make sure that you got diapers, feed, bottles, formula. All of this is still playing, even though people not playing fair by you, and you overextended your hand. Like you said, you went above and beyond, just like a lot of fathers that I do know. And you still have to go through this process through the court system and still be intact as a man, still be on time in the process. So I think for women and men to understand in this cycle, in this system, that your personal that gets placed on the children as far as feelings disrupts a flow that could just be smooth and you can just get along fine.
And I like to say this too, for the record of this podcast. The court order required me to pay. Me and the mother have to split the cost of the child care facility in half. However, I paid his child care fee up until October, right? So the daycare had an obligation to, you know, when something medically goes on with the child, or you know, the child needs something, they notify me, I go by it and take it up but like I said, the legal way said, let me put this on file. My street sense say, now when you need something, how you gonna get it? You got me trespassed.
And I don't think, and I see, and this is what plays into this system. When you emotionally react, you can legally destroy yourself. And I'm going to say this one more time. When you emotionally react due to these court orders and different things like that, you can legally destroy yourself. I know this firsthand because I've been in that court system too. And I want people to understand that even through this process, you still kept a positive mindset for your children. Do you know, and I want the people to understand, do you know how strong you have to be to maintain that and to keep everything intact? But go ahead.
I had to grow into that, man. I'm the most impatient person in the world, man. And I got a sense of, I get aggravated real quick. And once I learned how the court worked, I got into them real quick. Last year, bro, I didn't know nothing about court. All I knew is I went and inquired, like, hey, what packet do I need to try to, you know, get custody of my kids? And they gave it to me. I met with an attorney. I paid the Lobano. I went down there. I got 30 minutes to try to, you know, fill out the whole packet with an attorney. And what helped me was I kept the first packet. So when I went and got the other two for my other two kids, I just switched the names, the address, and I was just, you know, going through it, you know, how I did. But man, last year I didn't know nothing, bro, about court. I didn't know how nothing worked. I got here off experience. I got here based on experience, going through it, you know, feeling the depression, feeling the anger, feeling the rage, you know, and wanting to crash out. But on the other hand, knowing that, hey, this is in your favor because you the ones open this up. So the judge is going to look at you like you want to be in your kids, and it's going to make the mothers look vindictive. So my head is like, why would I mess that up?
And I have to give you kudos and, you know what I'm saying, special love for maintaining that, because there are a lot of brothers that don't make it to the point of where you at now. And I think that these conversations have to be had because there's a young man, like you say, when you were willing almost to be at the brink of that, there are some men that are crashing out, even getting violent. You know what I'm saying? To the mother, to shoot. Now we see the court systems. We got people throwing chairs at judges now. It's really becoming an emotional roller coaster for both parents. But as far as you being a father, man, I have to commend you and you telling your story, even in the process, because I don't think people understand the emotional draining part of it, of you still having to go on with your daily comings and goings, and that plays a huge part on your psyche.
Yeah, man, I tell you one thing, it sure have introduced me to mental strength.
Now let me ask you something. What have your parents said through the process? Because I know sometimes parents, and this has happened with me, when a parent has said, y'all got to get along, it's not me. And I'll be like, yo, and I've had that experience, and I'm you know what I'm saying, I'm just giving the mail. My mom has been like that. Even my dad at one point was like that, like, y'all got to get along. I'm like, I want to get along. You know what I'm saying? It takes two people to get along, so I want to get along. But a lot of times you get grouped in together, like there's a certain conflict. What was the parent experience like that? What were they seeing in the process of it?
Man, to be honest, man, me and my biological mother haven't talked in like 2 years. So beforehand, when we were talking, you know, there was, you know, that motherly, hey, like, don't be like that, or you need to go on and go try to, you know, get your rights, because, you know, you don't want it to be a situation of this and that. So this had been getting pushed on me for about 2 or 3 years, probably a little longer than that, regarding my oldest daughter. My pops came home from prison last year, and you know, he always say, "Boy, you got something on your hands." But you know, my pops just you know, he let me be a man about it. You know, like, yeah, you made these kids. It's up to you to take care of them. It's up to you to find a way.
And little do you know, you are the shining light in the family. You know what I'm saying? Because you're showing resilience through the whole, you know what I'm saying, process of it all. A lot of times they may not tell you specifically, but they're inspired by your strength. They're inspired by your courage. You didn't run from the responsibility and your obligations. You stood tall. You stood through the test of time. And I think a lot of times, and it eventually will come, you will be acknowledged as far as in your family as a leader. And when I say as a leader, meaning you didn't fold, you know what I'm saying? You didn't tuck your tail. You stood up, you handled your business, and you took the self-initiative. And I think that needs to be recognized and looked at and respected as far as men and women that are watching this podcast, as far as men and women in your family, siblings and everything like that. I think that this should be commendable as far as a positive message, because we already see, you know, they had a show on, you know what I'm saying, with the Maury Povich show, who could possibly be the father. You know what I'm saying? You got these court cases, the divorce court, and all of these negative energies where it's a gender war against each other. Talk shows talking about stuff like that, blogs, different things. And I think that we have to highlight Black men in this light of going through the process and still maintaining their fatherhood.
Absolutely. I'm 100% with you.
And trust me, your children are gonna thank you for it. You know what I'm saying? My daughter thanks me. You know what I mean? I just got through seeing her just a few minutes ago. She getting her hair done and whatnot. And you right now, you know what I'm saying? You taking your kids under your wing and just showing them that love and just letting them know, like, whatever is going on, I don't care. It could be World War III. I got y'all and I love y'all, man. I gotta give you some love, bro.
Absolutely, man.
Now,
and I like to note too, a lot of my posts and a lot of my, you know, my deliverance, you know, I do speak to man, I do speak on my experience, but I have also helped mothers that have been in my shoes and my position. So, you know, I use my platform to, you know, I speak more so for the man because I am a man, but I also speak for women too, because you do have some vindictive baby fathers out here too. One lady wrote me the other day on social media about her own husband. They were separated, but, you know, he took the child and she wants to know how to get the child. So I'm in favor of the children. It don't matter the gender. If you're a vindictive father, then I'm leaning more towards helping the mother. If you're a vindictive mother, I'm probably going to lean more towards helping the father.
Right. And as you should, because you're showing that there's no bias. And that's exactly why I built this platform, because a lot of people were trying to deem that, you know what I'm saying, in the process. And I'm like, no, everybody comes from a different walk of life, different circumstances, different situations. Shout out Black, you know what I'm saying? But you are for what's right and you are for what's fair. So I think that, like you say, take your feelings out of it, take your emotions. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And since then, if you're going through that process, tell me the blessings that you've gotten, because we elaborated that off screen, but tell the folks of what you've been through in the process and the light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I'm saying? Let the folks know what's been going on in your world.
So because I opened these court cases up myself, I actually had a attorney jump on my case just to because I was a young father that didn't know what to do at the start of this court case. She kind of assisted me, which is how I learned a lot of stuff as well. So like I said, I'm about to start receiving child support for my oldest daughter. I'm more grateful for my daughter because that's her money. She gonna be a rich little 7-8-year-old. I got back in my daughter's life early this year, in March, and my son, I got back in his life in May. I had seen him back in the months of January and the month of April, about once, twice, until the mother got upset, and he was kept away from me. And now, man, I get him and he spend overnights with me now. I get him tomorrow, Sunday, and he spend the night with me, man. So it's not enough time as I would like, but something is better than nothing. It's a starting point. And one thing the courts do, they don't automatically just give you your kid, for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. They have a system called Step Up. Right. Step Up consists of, okay, you're going to get your kids on this day and that day for a couple hours. And then after the first 3 weeks, then we're going to move to overnights. So you're going to get your kid on this day, and then when you get them on this day, they're going to spend the night with you, and you got to have them back that morning at this time, or whatever time the courts deem it convenient. So, man, tomorrow I have all my kids, man, and it feels good to be under one roof. You know what I mean? It's just a feeling that I wish everybody had.
And I want to bring this up, and I know this might be a little off, but I feel like it has a lot to do. I had Halle Berry, who was talking about child support and saying that the system was unfair. I believe to a certain extent that there is a certain level of unfairness, but I believe that to a certain extent there is a certain level of fairness, but we men have to go through that process just a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Because we know most of the time that the mother is granting custody. And for her to say that, and for her to, and I believe she's giving it from an emotional standpoint, not from a realistic standpoint, but it's who they deem responsible enough to take care of the child. And that plays a huge intricate part. And like I say, I have to give much respect to you. And then also for the mothers that understand what you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to take your ego. Me and my friend of mine say this all the time. It's not an ego, it's how we go. Once you remove the ego, once you remove the pride, we can actually get somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Once you take that personal out of it, now you can start seeing things clear. And then here's the blessing. Good intentions match with good intentions give you great results. So why are we not trying to get the best results by putting our heads together as opposed to trying to jug at each other,
And what I like to point out too, child support ain't all bad. And I'm going to give you an example. You never hear a man complaining about paying $10, $15 in child support. But let it be $150 to $250. Oh, man, I'm paying her so much money. Guys don't necessarily have a problem paying child support. They have a problem paying so much in child support. So how I think is, okay, let's just suppose the judge just wake up one morning and say, hey, you're going to be paying $120 in child support. All right, cool. But I get to still see my child, though. My child still gets to come to the house. Because naturally, I'm going to spend more in a month than $120 anyway. But what I'm also going to do is ask the courts, hey, can you put it to where I see where my money going? I don't want my money used for personal gain. Get a sum in place to where she has to provide receipts of where she's spending this $120. So, fellas, don't always look at child support as a bad thing. The most important thing, because money come and go. You could be poor today and rich tomorrow. It's about the time you spend with your kids. That means more to me than child support. Hey, take this $120 and get out my face, get out my way. I'll holler at you when it's time for me to bring the baby back.
And for you to say that, and like I say, a lot of times people, they cringe at the fact, brothers cringe at the fact, and women cringe at the fact. But like you say, the money can't replace the time spent, the wisdom, the knowledge, and the energy that you put in your child. That 120 is just mere shekels as opposed to you actually being in that child's life and making an impact. Man, this story needs to be looked at and reflected upon so that the younger generation, because there's a young generation coming right before you that don't have a clue of what to do, what to say, how to conduct themselves. I think that this is very informative for them. And for you to do this with me, Kusi, man, I have to give you, you know what I'm saying, your roses, your flowers, and to let other brothers know that there are men that do fight. Ladies, so you can understand this. There are men that fight to be in their children's lives.
And I'm one of them.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. And tell them, since then, man, what has been going on, man? Let the folks know of, you know, the events that have been coming up. Your management team has put some things together, and you've been an influence in the community. Let the folks know what you have going on.
Yeah, man. So I just a month and a half ago, man, I posted a regular day at the, drop off. I actually documented the video just so I can prove that I was there. And man, that video, I posted it. It was a clip on there where it was like a slow-mo, because I like to edit my videos on TikTok. Mm-hmm. And when you make your videos, you kind of click through. And man, I made a mistake and clicked the slow-mo video at the end, man, and that sent my video on all platforms over 3 million views. I know on Instagram, I got about 7.8 million, almost 8 million views. So I know when I was, just a month and a half ago, man, I was sitting at 658 followers on Instagram because I had to restart my page. Mm-hmm. I'm at 11.5 thousand followers now on Facebook. I have 43,000 followers. And I'm almost at 10,000 on TikTok, man. So what happened was when I posted that video and it started going everywhere, man, so many people started hitting me up, man, like celebrities. And, so many people was hitting me up, the podcast with them, man, and just spread awareness. And, they liked what I was doing. And my manager is actually one of my good friends. She's in her 40s. She's a lot older than me, but, she's someone that, I trust, and, with money, with my children, so a lot of, these people, when they want to, they may write me directly, and I might say, here go my manager's email, run everything through her, because she actually is the one that's going to sit and read everything, and, she's going to let me know what she feels, if I should do it or shouldn't, or shouldn't do it. And, man, over the course of this week, man, I got 4 podcast opportunities. And, shout out to, this podcast, man. I actually, bro wrote me, and I didn't hesitate to, do this for y'all. So, man, I got so much great things, lined up. I'm actually going to Atlanta, Miami, a few cities that I'll be going to, man, to go podcast and, spread awareness.
Man, listen, when you come to Houston, you know what I'm saying? Like I say, man, it's a growing city. Everybody comes here. Like I say, man, it's weird because Florida, like I say, is my second home, that I'm always embraced with just nothing but love. You know what I mean? Shout out to all my friends, Trap God, Lido, Animal Shelter, who like I say, man, I reached out to them, and Florida has always shown me so much love, and I'm humbled, especially you just choosing my podcast to even, you know what I'm saying, tell your story and elaborate on certain things. So, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, bro.
And I appreciate you, man. I appreciate, you know, just the fact that you put me in a position to spread awareness to men, women of all colors, ethnicities, and background. It's positive, bro. And man, I'm in support of it, man. I'm in support of this wholeheartedly, man.
And you being the instrument to help this platform grow, to let them know in the world know that there is no gender biases here. We all come from walks of life, especially within Black culture. And right now, it's a war. And I'm trying to settle that war so that people can understand people's perspectives. And once you hear these perspectives, instead of dissecting them and trying to poke holes in somebody's resume, hear them out. Hear them out, because you may learn and there may be jewels dropped to even impact your heart, your spirit, to change you for the better. Because believe it or not, just me listening to you kind of gave me a even softer heart towards my daughter's mama. You know what I'm saying? Just to even think outside the box, because like I say, you got to take your ego off the table. You got to take the personal out of it, because the most important thing are the children. And I have to say, man, listen, you have gave me some things to think about, especially when we get off the air, for me to change in my approach, for me to change in my directness, in my tonnage, you know what I'm saying, to get a better understanding. Because you going through this process, you go through the court system, and it favoring you. That's a blessing right there in itself, man. And I think as everybody's watching, man, please take heed to this. He's been through the process. He went and did the right thing. He went above and beyond. What else could be set as a high example for somebody handling their business like they're supposed to?
And man, I want to elaborate on this for the people that's listening that may be going through this or maybe on the verge of going through this. One thing that I mentioned to the judge, I said, Your Honor, regardless of what evidence may be presented, what may be said about me, what I may say about her, at some point in life, the child or children want to see both parents together at some point. And I don't mean relationship. It can be birthday parties, it can be an event, it can be, sporting event. A child gonna want to see both parents in the same vicinity.
That's true.
And one of my goals is I want to, because I got thousands of people DMing me. I got so many people inquiring and asking questions. So I want to actually make an ebook or, some type of a document, like type something up to where I can explain my journey. I can explain what needs to be done in certain situations, with this family law stuff, because I feel that, if I put it on, let's just say I charge $15, $20, for somebody to get this catalog, man, I feel like, so many parents, men and women, bro, will already know what to do, and it would eliminate killings and, dysfunction within, the Black family system, bro.
I agree with you, bro. And you got my support. Whenever you drop it, I'm definitely going to be a customer. You know what I'm saying? Whatever I can to help, you know what I'm saying, to spread the word, any post, anything that I can give, man, I'll repost it. Just send it my way. You know what I'm saying? The platform, like I told you when I directly DM'd you, man, the platform is yours, man, for real.
Yeah, and I appreciate you wholeheartedly, man.
Man, I appreciate
it. It's all God, man. I didn't mention God one time, man, but all of this wasn't the guy here, the one for God. I don't know what God that, people may serve, but whatever God that you believe in, talk to that God, pray to that God, ask that God for direction, ask that God for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, ask that God for mental and emotional peace. That's how I got through this.
You got, man, let me tell you something. It's nothing but a spiritual awakening and enlightenment in your life for you to go through the process of what you went through. And it has inspired me. You know what I'm saying? Just on that one clip just drew an interest to me to that point, and to just be to learn it and to experience it myself firsthand, and in learning from your experience, it actually made me become a better person and want to become a better person. So you being in that spiritual realm has led to a lot of people learning from this experience and growing from this experience. So I have to say that, you know what I'm saying? Most people don't like to really look outside themselves, but in this interview, I really looked at myself and looked outside myself, man, to become a better person.
Hey man, if none of this wouldn't have happened, we wouldn't have met. So this, man, not only, and this from me to you, bro. Had I not went through my situation and what I thought was a problem then, it became a blessing now. And I'm able to meet with beautiful people like you, bro, with, you know, things that I've been trying to do. You know, I've been trying to podcast for so long, and it took me going through something that I thought was going to break me at first. That's how it got me here. So no matter how ugly a situation, to the people that's listening, or will hear this, no matter how ugly the situation may be, it's always beauty at the end of the tunnel.
Man, that's a word, man. That's a true word. Listen to me, man. Man, let these folks know where they can reach you at on your Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Let these folks know where they can get at you.
Okay, on TikTok, you can reach me at _Koosii. So that's _KOOSIEE. On Instagram, _Koosii, _KOOSIEE. And on Facebook, you can reach me at Kevon Manning. That's KEV as in violin, OUGHN. And the last name is MANNING.
Man, listen. And for those, like I say, I always like to put this at the end of my show. Listen, if you've got any questions, comment, hate, or debate, list all of them in the chat. We'll pick certain questions. Even after the show, if you want to drop a comment on this show, listen, we take all constructive criticism. If you biased, if you feel like, listen, we're gonna get to the answers. We're gonna get to the bottom of it, and we're gonna definitely have an aftermath to where we can have an open conversation and open dialogue about it. You know what I'm saying, man? I just want to thank you for blessing my podcast, you telling your story. You know what I'm saying? Very deep. Very deep.
I appreciate you for bringing me on, man, and allowing me to be a voice.
Man, for real. Listen to me. When you touch down in Houston, you got my number. You know what I'm saying? You got my handle, man. Man, listen, I can definitely place you in some of the hottest spots of the city. You know what I'm saying? You'll be comfortable everywhere that I go. You know what I'm saying? It's always love, and I always bring love and positive energy, especially across the Houston city, man. And anytime I come to Florida, man, when I visit Pensacola, man, you know what I'm saying? I definitely want to tap in with you there too, for real.
From Pensacola, stay in Tallahassee.
Oh yeah, Tallahassee.
Yeah. But man, one of my goals, bro, is to actually come to Houston, man, and actually podcast with you, you know, face to face, man, one-on-one, you know.
Come on with it, brother. Come on with it, man. I got a special spot for it, man. We can have these conversations, man, because I think this right here is a game changer. Especially opening up. Ladies can hear this. You know what I mean? And ladies, and I'm asking you, please take an open mind. Take an open ear to some things. Be introduced into this episode and let it enlighten you just a little bit. It ain't got to enlighten you 1,000%, 100%, but just give us at least 25%. That way we can start getting this dialogue and the conversation going to go in a better place so that we can be better fathers, better mothers, better protectors and providers on both parts. You know what I'm saying? Let this be the foundation of where we start something good. You know what I'm saying? And let that foundation be started with Koosii himself. You know what I'm saying? For real.
Absolutely.
Man, I'm finna get ready to end this show, man. I'm gonna definitely holler at you right behind the scenes after this. And man, listen, anything else you want to say? Any shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, man. I want to shout out my children. I want to shout out everybody that got on here to, you know, listen. I want to shout out to Rob. I want to shout out the city of Houston, Florida. I want to shout out Florida A&M University, my alma mater. And man, I just want to shout out God, man. And it's no hard feelings. You know, I don't expect everybody to get on here and agree with me and Rob talked about, but it's all love. If anybody, you know, need assistance or got questions or help with anything, you can reach me at the social media platforms I stated. Or if you want to, you know, reach out to Rob and have Rob reach out to me, he have my personal number, and I'm sure after this segment, he and I are gonna, you know, stay in touch to try to put something bigger out, you know, in the atmosphere. So that's all I want to say. And it's peace, love, and blessings to everybody.
Absolutely, man. Koozie on the check-in, y'all, man. For real, man. Listen, we bringing it to you live and direct, man. The hard elephant in the room conversations, man. For real. Listen, if you have joined us for the first time, I just want to say thank you for joining us, man. Listen, it has been a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? I would like to thank all of you for joining tonight's broadcast. And if I came up in your feed and you stopped to take a peek in, then come in, join the conversation, and comment down below. Well, we've come to an end, so tell a friend and let the conversation begin. So until the next time, we got a lot to yap about. But before, I want to end the show on something on a positive note. I got 2 songs that I want to drop, man. Listen, 2 of my favorites that's always in my playlist. None other than Asteroid, Houston's Homegrown. And right after that, I got my boy all the way from Oak Cliff, by the way of Houston. He is here dropping a song too. It's called Still Us Part 3. But first up, Asteroid. You know what I'm saying? Saturn. Hey, man, I appreciate y'all for joining me tonight. Until next time, we going to definitely yap about it. Good night.
Sorry. You're not blonde enough.
If I could take you to Saturn, I'd introduce you to patterns that they couldn't find. I only need for the sour, 'cause I wanna party with you in the infinite time. Please carry on. I feel like everybody's rolling off of something, hoping at dysfunction. Bodies glisten all over the floor. DJ, the way she hit that replay, make someone fall easy. Body language, speaking fluencies. Freeze fire, I let it fly. It's a free thing. After this line, I'm hoping you can reach me. Cause coffee beans in the morning is a sweet thing. After this line, I'm hoping it's Saturn. I would introduce you to patterns that they couldn't find. And we do it for the sour. If I wanna party with you in this infinite time, please carry on. I feel like everybody's rolling off of something, bumping at this function. Bodies glisten all over the floor. DJ, the way she hits that replay, that makes you want float easy. Got me out here speaking fluent shit.
In a world that's social media driven, it seems that love is taken for granted.
No.
I'm just glad that we've been able to survive and weather the storm. And there's nobody I'd rather be on this journey with. Us. We. Still.
Still the one I'm fucking. Still the one I'm loving. You still the one about you a hater could tell me nothing. Still the one I need. Woman of my dreams. Still the one I'm bringing the minute that I succeed. Cause for me, I know you ride. Your every need I'll provide. Forever shit on my mind. Forever our souls are tied. I really just think it's time. We sit and we pick a time for shit that's been on our mind. Forever you'll be my spine, right? At first shit had got rocky with the outside chatter. We blocked it out and kept it moving. That shit don't even matter. You threw that pussy, I knocked it out. Now I'm the only batter. And I'm so glad it happened. For real. Rubbing you, touching you, giving you life. Thug in the house, you can sleep through the night. Family good, all the kids are alright. Arguments happen, I'm making it right. Buy you a person, put you on a flight. Didn't get married, but call you the wife. Smiling and happy, you loving your life. Them hoes, they hating, it's all out of spite. You the one that took me from my old ways. I'm just trying to be with you the old age. You my lover friend and my homemade, my only, yeah, still.
Hey, I'm on my way to the house. Be ready and have your bags packed.
Ceremony, holy matrimony, how they want it, shit real, nothing phony. How we own it, not condoning or tolerate nothing when it come to my baby. Still my lady, life is crazy, you're amazing. Glad we made it and God gave me somewhere to share something that's finally real. And you know I'm gonna hold you down from right now until permanent contract. It's no way I'm letting you out of the deal. And everything I said from day one live inside of me still. You the one that took me from my old ways. I'm just trying to be with you the old age. You my lover friend and my homemade, my only, yeah, still.